Hi. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm doing all right. We had I got this morning, went straight on to because we self-publish books through KDP and realized that we'd just sold a book in Spain, so our 101 book.
Oh,
And
wow.
and it's just so nice to see when, there's people all around the world like buying your book and like, oh wow, somebody in Spain has purchased our book. So you get these little excited. So that was my little excitement this morning, seeing that. And you've got some
Well
news as
done.
well, haven't you? I think. Have you got some
I
news?
do have some news. So I'm very, very pleased to share with you Smart
Oh,
Home. So it's the third book. So
yeah.
in the Ava and Chip series. So there's Mom modeled on myself with Ava and Chip.
It looks very cute. I do love the illustrations. They're really good illustrations in your
Yeah.
books.
Thank you. Well, all credit to the illustrator. So, Smart Home. So, three books down in my children's book series. And of course, I've done all the writing bits of work. And it's such a warm feeling. I never thought of myself as an author. If you'd
Mm.
asked the sort of younger me, like age 12, teenage years, even my 20s, or maybe even 30s also, are you an author? I'd have said no. But I've looked at my bookshelf and I thought, you are an author.
Yeah, and this
So
is it. Yeah,
it's
it is.
really
It
exciting.
it is hard to believe sometimes. Like, you still don't believe it. Like we've self-published books, and like we've got our secret book deal that we're working on at the moment with a professional publishing. So it's all very exciting. But like what is an author? Because if you've
Mm,
done professional writing for magazines, blog posts, that kind of thing,
mm.
that's another definition of an author as well. But yeah, it's sometimes it's really hard to just say it and give yourself that label. I don't know if it's what's it called when you
Have this
imposter
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 yeah.
syndrome, yeah, like well oh am I, because like when I was a teacher, that was my job, I had
Yes.
my degree telling me I could teach and my certificates and all of these things, whereas with an author, I guess, once you've held something in your hand that's got your name on it as the author, you're an author.
Proud feeling. It's
Yeah.
really, really nice. And
Mm.
you're right, it's you don't have a piece of paper, but your piece of paper is your book.
Yeah.
There's something I should say here is that sometimes people go, well, how do you get started and things like that? And it all
Mm.
begins for me. I started writing articles and just submitting them to, it was a free computing magazine called Switched On, which evolved into Hello World magazine. And
Mm.
that I just started crafting my writing. And even with these children's books, that was, I wanted to do something to address the digital divide. And I thought, I'm going to tell the story through my eyes. And I literally
Mm.
just started writing. And, three books later, with a few more to come, and I'm very excited. So,
Yeah, well, that's it, and it's all just about trying, isn't it? And you just iterate. And I think we were talking about this the other day. Like your latest book is always going to be your best book, and if it's not, you've done something wrong. You've got to get better every single time and learn from it, get feedback from people, and improve it each time. And yeah, and
the best yet. The best
yeah,
yet.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm like that with our flip computing book, with this one. This is the best yet. This is our latest one. And I'm
Yeah.
just so proud of it. Like it just feels nice, it looks nice, it's really fun to do. And again, there's people all around the world doing it. Like you can see, who's watching our YouTube videos from all
Mm.
around. There's someone in Morocco doing it the other day, and I was just like, wow, this is just incredible. Like, but you start at this first book, this first idea, and it just gets better each time. And you just gotta give it a go, haven't you? If it's something you want to do, just have a go at it.
That is the best advice we can give to anyone. Just have a
Mm,
go, just do it. And I
yeah.
like this thing where you can publish your work and it just goes out there. So when you
Mm,
said Morocco and you've got people around the world, reading and using your books, and I experienced that. I've mentioned before, I published an artificial intelligence course over on Udemy. And
Yeah.
I started seeing it pinging up people in Guatemala and all across the world using this course. And it was, wow, gave me a warm feeling inside that I've just taken this initiative to put this out there, and people are using it across the world and feeling empowered when it's artificial intelligence to empower us so we can think and consider the impact of AI upon our individual lives and our communities. So it's a nice feeling that you're actually playing your part to
Yeah,
change
yeah, and
things.
people are reading your things and taking part, and it is a wonderful experience. And you've just got to think, we're still quite early in our journey of building businesses and things like that. This is what it's like being at the beginning, and like the little struggles and the successes, and then all these peaks and troughs that you go through as you in your entrepreneurial journey. And people need to see this point, because I think people see like the millionaire and like wildly successful business that's like presented to people as like an aspiration, but actually you need to see this early stage where it's in those bits of development, and you
Mm,
like all those things that go wrong along the way. And hopefully we're all building towards that big success, that successful brand or whatever it is that you want it to be, that
mm.
thing that we're working towards, where it is just a better version of what you're doing now. It's
Yeah, this is it. So it's your company, or it's brand Beverly Clark Consulting, whatever it is, or the brand with
mm,
my books, and it's you've got to build, build, build. So as you know, I'm a Small Business Sunday winner through the book series, and that's a
mm,
group that Theo Grafitis, the former Dragon's Den entrepreneur, that he set up. And he does a lot of inspirational speeches, and he did say, he goes, it's step, 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 arrive at success.
mm,
It isn't just bang, I've got all this success from day one. It's not that. And there is a
mm,
journey. So it's back and forth. For example, it's figuring out your illustrations when you're writing. It's proofreading, seeking out reviewers. There's so much. I think we should
mm.
do something and share this with other people,
Yeah.
and talk about writing books. So keep an eye out for that one. It's coming soon.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're getting better at it every time we do it, and we're learning more. And that's, it's something to share, isn't it? Because again, like you look at YouTube, and there's loads of, how to self-publish a book, and kind of like tutorials. Oh, I make £4,000 a day, and oh, it's like I don't want to know that story. I want to know other stories from different people and the challenges that they went through and how it led to the success. I don't want to know the outcome at the end. I want to know the journey.
The
And
journey is so important, and
yeah.
this is where we are. We're sharing our journey, our tech
Hmm.
insights along this journey. Everything is a journey. It's not the destination. Enjoy the journey, because that's where
Yeah.
the real growth is happening. So I've got my coaching hat on at the moment. It's the growth through the journey. And I talk about your personal growth journey, and
Yeah.
it must be embraced. If you're only thinking about, I'm going to earn, the magical figure these days seems to be 100K. Well,
Mm.
there is a journey to get there if that's what your goal is. So
Yeah.
you've got to enjoy that journey. And I'm definitely enjoying it. And I know you are too.
Yeah, you do, and it is such a big risk. I waited till my 40s to set up my own business, and like, I had no idea how to run a business. But you find the right people, you find mentors that are already there, you get advice, you get a good accountant who's going to advise you
Yes.
about things like that, and help you with stuff. So you get the right people around you that are going to support you and build you up and help you grow. That's really, really important. But yeah, sometimes I wish, like, could I have done this earlier? But actually, I'm glad I've waited till now, because I've experienced
Mm.
lots of different situations, different companies, different leaders. You
Mhm.
learn what's a good thing to do and what I definitely would never do as a
Oh,
leader.
yes.
And you go through all those examples. Well, I know what not to do now,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't do that. And it's all those things that you learn along the way. Whereas, maybe if you're younger and you haven't had all those different experiences. There's still people do it though. I mean, people are successful
Oh yeah.
at a very young age because they just get on with it and they just go for it and have the same journey but at a younger age. So, you know, I'm not knocking people that do it earlier, but I feel like for me, this is the right age, this is the right time for me to do it. And that's the thing, it's reflecting on your own journey and what's right for you at the time. And that, you know, that's how I look at it anyway. And I'm glad I'm doing it. And I never really, maybe I've had 2 days in the last, I think we've been doing flip computing now for 8 months, maybe 9 months. I think it's 8 months. I think I've had 2 days where I've been like, oh God, but only 2 days, only 2 days. Whereas when I've been in other jobs, I've been like, you know, the whole dreadful Sunday night,
Oh
do I
yes,
want to
yes.
start menu, you know, and it's a weekly thing and almost a daily thing sometimes if you're in quite a toxic environment. And yeah, it's happened twice in 8, 9 months, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just like, oh, okay, you know, I haven't got
But
the
that's
energy
normal,
today. Yeah.
and it's okay to accept and that is actually happening, and being aware of your
Mm,
thoughts and considering why you may feel like that. And it's something I talk about again with my coaching hat on. Who is in
mm,
your corner? Who do you speak to?
yeah,
So you mentioned your accountant, or is it a friend? And knowing also the skills that you have, and also where you need a partner that will complement the skills that you don't have. That's really important. So,
yeah,
I really value our conversations because it's an ideation, really. Share ideas. And so it's who do you have in your corner that
mm,
can advise you? So finance, HR, legal, creative
mm,
people, just insights of someone to bounce off of. Those people are all very, very important, and they've got to be bringing a positive experience to you.
yeah,
And this was my own experience. I mean, I started the self-employed journey in so it's been a step journey since 2016,
mm,
when I was across the country 70 miles from here, and I basically threw it all up in the air. I had a stable job. I don't believe all jobs are stable because they've got their strains and
yeah,
challenges, and I moved for love and also
mm,
became self-employed at the same time. Just threw it up, and lots of people were saying, well, what job are you going to? And I didn't have a job. I said, I don't
yeah,
know. And it was like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Is she okay? So love worked out, and also self-employment's worked out. And
yeah,
um, I've had a few more sort of contracts that have lasted, so sort of part-time contracts along the way, but now I'm completely self-employed. And I mean, I'm slightly older than you, but do you know what? It's about thinking of what are you doing with your time. So you won't
mm,
regret it. So I don't have no regrets.
yeah,
It could be a challenge at times, but that's part of the journey. So I just go along with it, and talking about it is good also. So that's where having a coach works and helps. So even the
yeah,
coach, has a network too. So
yeah,
one of the things I talk about is your personal and professional learning networks. Who is in
mm,
your network?
yeah,
So it's very
yeah.
important.
And you want positive people, but you also want those critical friends that are going to be honest with you. Like, you know, if something you've done is rubbish, you need to know. Like you need to
Oh
know how
yeah.
to make it better and get feedback to improve. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, reading about it, because we support a lot of underestimated groups in tech and things like that, and how, you know, how can we promote that? A lot of women do not get proper critical feedback that's going to help them progress in their roles, in their careers. They just
Mm,
get criticism about, you know, their tone of voice or they're bossy, or, you know, that's the
mm,
kind of feedback they get. Oh, you know, be less bossy. Well, that's not going to help me progress in my career. I need to have actual actionable things that I can do. And it's learning those things and having that right community around you that are going to give you that support to grow your career, rather than just criticize, oh, why didn't you wear makeup in that video? like what's that got to do with anything?
uh,
And things that just
honestly,
pointless.
yes, exactly. And being assertive is not aggressive.
No.
Knowing what you want, why should we be ashamed of that as women? And this thing is
Mm,
being put down or held down or going, I've had comments made, well, you don't have the right skills right now. well,
Mm.
what have you done to develop me? With those absolutely nothing. But so that's not positive. It's not helpful. So
Mm.
it's also having this awareness sometimes in your journey that this is no longer the right path for me and I need to step off and take a different path. It's
Yeah.
not one career path or one road to any destination. There are multiple roads. And the important thing to remember is you have to travel your own road. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not copying someone else's road, it's traveling your own road. So perhaps taking aspects of another person's journey that you admire and that
Mm.
inspires you, and adding that with your own special flavor and
Yeah.
continuing along your journey. So that brings you, the unique you, that is you, you bring your uniqueness. And that's really, really important, to find your unique flavor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And hopefully that's what we're doing, and we're just going with it and seeing what happens.
Right.
Some people might like it, some people might hate it. If you hate it, you don't have to watch it.
You know what? It's our personal growth journey, our
Yeah.
tech journey, our insights. I tell you what, we should actually introduce ourselves. Anyone
Yeah.
listening to this, thank you so much for listening. So my name is Beverly, and
I'm Rebecca Franks. Yeah.
so Beverly Clark and Rebecca Franks, and we are both women who work in tech, and we've got backgrounds as teachers and other things that we've done. And you can check our websites to find out more about us, or our LinkedIn profiles.
Mm.
And we are edupreneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and we get together and we talk about what's going on in our professional lives, sometimes our personal lives off camera. Just share this because we want to inspire others to follow their dreams, and just to also share what we're doing. We just think this is good for elevating everyone and building us all up. So if you like it, please do share. So
Yeah.
anyway, what's grabbing your attention in the tech news this week?
Well, so this happened in the Flip Computing office this morning. So Liz sent us a YouTube video to Google's Gemini AI tool,
Mm,
and there's a YouTube video. I'm sure we'll put that in a link somewhere,
yeah,
and it just shows the growth of generative AI, but also AI tools to help you complete tasks and co-pilot type things. And, you know, if you look at this video and you're just like, wow, this is amazing, check your privilege, think about what's going to happen. What is the future of this technology? Where's it going to take you? Think about that. So be excited, obviously. And as we always say, embrace it. But with that knowledge, what's the risks? What's the bias? What do we need to do to protect ourselves and fight to ensure that we're going to get a fair system that's going to be made to support us. So this tech is amazing. If you look at it, you're just like, wow, this is amazing. But where's it going? As I always say every time, where is this tech going? But this Gemini YouTube video, definitely watch it. You've said, I think you've seen it, haven't you? Did you
I've
watch
seen
it?
it first bits.
Yeah.
I need to continue watching it. Yeah, I think we really do need to question artificial intelligence. As you said, it's absolutely fantastic. It's doing great things, but there are a
Mm-hmm.
few caveats. Things like data sets. What
Yeah.
data is it using, and
Yeah.
who is this AI then serving? We really need to understand that. So it isn't just wow, wow, wow. And it's something that I'm
Mm.
really big about, getting young people and us, if at our ages, to question what AI is doing. How is it being used? Who is it impacting upon? How is it impacting? Because if we don't question, then we're all at risk of just being shoved into this AI age without understanding the impact. And that's going to have really, really big issues further down the line. So some of the things that I've done are writing artificial intelligence curriculums for schools. So I've got
Mm.
one K-12 that goes out to about 50, the maximum reach currently is 55,000 students. I've
Yeah.
got AI curriculums on Udemy, which really get you to self-reflect on the impact of artificial intelligence on yourself, your community, and the wider society. I've got downloadable free resources that teachers anywhere in the world can access. And I'm going to put all these links up afterwards. And you really need to consider what's happening. You've got self-driving cars coming to our roads. And, this week there's a Cybertruck has been released that Elon Musk has put out there. I mean, have you seen it, the Cybertruck?
It is quite a scary looking thing.
It is. Yeah, it's sci-fi-ish, but then there's stories about it being so heavy that a collision at 35 miles per hour is going to have really massive impact, more than current cars would do. And that's a bit scary if people just start getting into their cyber beasts and their cyber trucks and off they go. There's going to be an impact. So I should say my second children's book is entitled Self-Driving Car. So here actually.
Behind you.
Driving. And the ring light is just showing up there on it. So self-driving car, because I think that young people should really be questioning what's going on, with this artificial intelligence. And every day there's more and more AI being released. And it'd be interesting to hear if people are finding artificial intelligence useful. So, let us know in comments. Is AI useful in your life, and how is it useful? And do you see any potential impacts and disadvantages for any groups of people? I really think we need to start thinking about that a lot more than is currently happening.
Yeah, and I think the thing that popped to my mind when I was watching this video on the Gemini AI thing, and you get this when you use ChatGPT for bouncing off ideas or whatever, it has this sort of tone of voice.
Oh, yes.
It's like certainly I can do that, blah blah blah. This sort of, and it to me it feels like a very Western type of voice, like a typical kind of style of voice. And if we rely on this technology that's only made by this certain subset of group of people, we're going to always have this similar tone of voice all the time in everything. And then how's that going to work when young people are growing up with this specific tone of voice all the time, and that's the only thing they're presented with as they're growing up? What's going to happen to society in that sense? And I would really be interested to know, like, what's it like, for example, if you're from Croatia, just as an example, and you're using these AI tools, does it feel like you're talking to someone from Croatia? Probably not. It's going to feel like someone from America is talking to you, being a co-pilot on the thing that you're making. So I feel like there's something going on there that we probably need to think about. Authenticity, are we just going to have this one style of voice in AI and that's that? Because that's where the technology seems to be going at the moment. Maybe they will adapt it, I don't know. But yeah, it just something just doesn't feel right with that, and we need to embrace it and all that kind of stuff. But it really does annoy me when people are putting a lot of effort into, how good it is and stuff, but not putting the same amount of effort to fighting injustice
Oh, yes.
in AI algorithms. Like, put the same amount of effort into that side of it too. Like the algorithmic Justice League. I mean, they are just amazing what they're trying to do. But listen to them, name them in the AI women, the Times.
The New York Times this week. I mean, there's a petition going around. I'll pop the link for the petition in after this, because there is an article in the sort of top movers and shakers in the AI world, and there wasn't a single woman listed. So is it a man's world? That's very peculiar, because we're here as women, and I'm a woman from an underrepresented group also. It's utterly ridiculous. I've just shared some of the work that I've been doing in artificial intelligence, and there are loads of women out there. And I know the Queens of Tech podcast, Jasmine Moradi, she's running this petition, and we're sharing that out wider. It's like, women are here, we are doing an awful lot, and we need to be recognized. And the time where people are just being overlooked has just got to stop.
Yeah, and also, yeah, so like, sorry, I'll just carry on. I just think
every day it adds to my daily frustration.
yeah.
There's these things happening. There's bias, there's tokenism, there's being overlooked, and it can be quite wearing. It's just stop it. If you're going to produce an article, look at it with an open mind, and that perhaps is part of what the challenge is, an open mind, and think,
Yeah.
do we have representation here? And answers such as there is no one around, or I don't know anyone, well, then you need to go and look, find
Yeah.
out, open your mind, grow your professional learning network and learn about and from others. You're going to get me started now, because I just think, what's going on, especially when you're in a receiving end of this, and you cannot take an article from the New York Times and then use it in a classroom, for example. Here are the top people in AI, because look at the myth that you're perpetuating if you then share that with the class. So
Yeah.
you've got to be really critical of what sources we're using, and it is a bit of a letdown, because that should be a good news outlet.
Oh yeah, and it's always the people from underestimated groups that have to shout out about these things. And you're only like, if you are invited to talk at a tech conference, which I mean, gosh, there's been so much that's happened lately to do with tech conferences. But if you are invited, you tend to be invited to talk about, underrepresentation or getting more girls into technology, that kind of thing, rather than your own skills in a particular part of the industry. And there's that we're still fighting against, if you're lucky enough to even get invited in the first place. And so did you see the 404 Media report on an AI generated woman in tech that was put onto a conference, like this made up woman? And apparently this isn't the only occasion. This has been happening for quite some time, where oh well, we need representation, so instead of talking to the women and getting representation, let's just make them up using AI. And then when they don't turn up at the event, they couldn't make it. And I'm sure, like, you can say, oh, childcare issues or some kind of women's problem that they that they didn't
It's
turn up.
ridiculous.
It's frustrating.
It's insulting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's still happening.
Yeah.
And then there's all the other things that are happening off the back of that. So we've got this AI being used not for good, to create fake profiles.
Yeah.
And then when real women are asked and are there, then we've got the issue of pay.
Yep.
So it's
transparency.
We need transparency in pay.
Yeah, this is it. And we're just, and it is disappointing, because I did feel like a few years ago it was getting better, but I definitely feel like it's gone backwards. Like, and it's like, why am I still having to have this same conversation with people, pointing out that, it's an all-male panel, it's an all-male speaker list, like, this is majority white male, this event. Have you looked at this? Like, why are we having to continually have that conversation and remind people, when there's just so much access to information about diversity and inclusion now? Like, there's so much advice. And like, the one thing that I've been working on, and I'm going to ask you for help at some point next year on it, is just some guidance on inclusive conferences in the tech space, and accessible as well. So thinking about supporting disabled speakers and guests to conferences, and how you can provide that additional support without them having to ask all the time. Let's just have it there. Let's just get justice in this situation. Like, I can freely turn up to an event, because I know I'm going to be catered for in whatever way it is, whatever need it is. So, and then that's what it's kind of my little side project at the moment, with all the other busy things that I'm getting on. But it's like, I'm going to chip away at it until I've got something that we can share publicly about it. And I would love to get a list of speakers from underestimated groups that are happy to speak and would want to put themselves on the website as, you know, these are people that can talk about tech in this space from underestimated groups. So, you know, people, so I can just literally say, whenever I see the next one, say, go to my page here, and then I won't have to keep, you know, going in all the detail. Just say, look, there's the detail. Look at this. Do you have your inclusion first mindset on this scenario? And there's your information. Like, you know, here you are. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few networks starting to do this already, and I'll loop you in with them, because this thing where, you know, it's we don't know who to approach, or as I said, you know, not wanting to pay people. People must be paid for their time. They've got to eat, they've got bills to pay, they've got families to provide for. People must be paid. And because, as you know, it takes time to prep. And, you know, I've been on the receiving end of, could you just do something for free? Could you do 5 minutes? Or could you do half an hour? You know, you don't need to prep it. Just do it off the cuff. Well, actually, I take pride in my work. I prepare it. I get dressed for it. Please respect my time and my effort. And I'm assuming you've come to me because I've got the skills and the knowledge and the impact that you require. So why do you expect it for free?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. And I just, you know, I'm not doing that. It's, you pay me. If you're sitting in your chair being paid, to be paid.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
Yeah,
why are we having to say this? I do not know, but we just do. We just have to keep saying. But it does get frustrating, and you know, and with anything in this sort of space, like I think people need to understand the story, the narrative that you've been fed your entire life, the things you've gone through. You know, they're all leading up to you getting, you know, quite angry with someone over something. It's like you don't understand, like, you know, what we've had to go through to get through this. And you know, I have white privilege. I know this, so I know that I'm in a more privileged position than other people as well. So, like, I'm always questioning that all the time. So, if I can do that, why can't other people? I don't, you know, I don't get it. I am sort of working myself up into some like frustration at the moment because I just literally see bias everywhere, and it gets a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to step back and think, okay, enough's enough. There's too much going on here today, because there is bias everywhere. There's no doubt about it. And I think to deny that is to be blinkered. To embrace it, when I say embrace, and it's not like a yay, but just to acknowledge, perhaps a better word, that there is bias, is to have an open mindset. Because when you see imbalance and bias, then you think, well, what can I do? Well, I think you should think about, what could I do to ensure that everyone is being treated the same and equally? What can I do for an equitable society? And if you believe in fairness, then you'd want to do that. If you don't believe in fairness, in my opinion, is a question you should question that with yourself. Why don't you believe in fairness if that's the argument that you're peddling? But, you know, talking about, you know, equal society, something is coming up quite recently is this whole thing about digital currencies. And I tell you why there's a few things going on. I get quite excited about this also. So I don't know if you've noticed on banking apps, they're so tiny, the screen.
Yes.
You know, you're struggling. I'm struggling. You know, speaking to someone in the 70s, and they were struggling with seeing it. And it's just different groups in society just being pushed out all of the time. It's going to happen to us too as we get older. So, you know, the Bank of England is looking at approving, or has approved, a new digital pound. What's the impact going to be on all of us? So we've got digital money, then we need devices, then we need connectivity. If you don't have the most up-to-date device, you're going to be locked out. If you don't have connectivity, you're locked out. And on it goes. So who's actually benefiting from all of this? That's my question.
Yeah, well, we don't know at this point, but I'm sure there will be somebody benefit. some Bitcoin style company out there that's going to set up the Bank of England's version of it that's going to make billions to set it up, and I'm sure they'll do an amazing job of it, and it'll be really easy to use and fair for everyone. I think I don't know if this is me not having my facts, so bear in mind that I don't have the facts completely in my head, but I'm sure there's a country somewhere where they've tried this kind of digital currency.
Oh yeah,
I hope,
yeah.
and
El
I don't know if
Salvador.
that's not the one I'm thinking of, I don't think. But you tell me about that in a second, where you can only spend your currency on certain items. No, I can't. You know what? It's one of those things like, is this a sci-fi movie or did it actually happen? But I think we could lead to that point where, if you've got this digital currency, there's some kind of code attached to it. So certain people from certain groups of society can only spend their money on certain things, and someone from a much more privileged position would get to choose what you can spend your money on. And that is one thing that worries me.
There is concern. So I'm going to address both of those. So El Salvador, there has been a big thing as their president, I think. He's invested heavily in Bitcoin, and then it did, I think, devalued greatly, and now it's back on the up. So it's a situation that's going on. But there is that whole conversation about digital currencies and should it be adopted, on a whole scale basis. But I think some of the concerns with the digital pound here have been about tracking, sort of linking into what you're saying. So if you can see my entire digital journey, where I'm going, what I'm spending, what time, eventually I think what you'll be able to do is build this profile and feed into the AI models.
Yeah.
And again, what's that impact? Why does that need to be known? It's marketing that I'd imagine is behind it. How is it actually helping me? I already know where I'm going to shop. So it's not helping me as an individual. I'd love someone to tell me how it's helping me as an individual. So, and if you're listening to this and you want to share that, please do. This is about enlightenment. So, bring your positive comments and share how is it helping. It's tracking, but yes, I like traveling around and I go to quite remote places sometimes. And there is no connectivity there. But then suddenly you're going to find a car park that suddenly need connectivity, and you're sort of struggling in the car looking for a few coins. And this total elimination of physical money. Is it really beneficial? Lots of older people like to carry cash. And I saw a man recently. I was in London. He went to pay, and it's like, sorry, we're cashless. And so he's looking around for this card, and I do struggle with it, and I do think we need to question more. So that's why I love these conversations about questioning what is happening with tech.
Yeah. And we can't just force it on people without doing the due diligence on it and checking the bias. It's like, with electric cars, a perfect example here. Yes, it's a great piece of technology, but our country does not have the infrastructure for us all to have electric cars. If we all had electric cars, we wouldn't be able to get anywhere because you wouldn't be able to charge your car anywhere. There's only like 3 points at a service station. All those things, we haven't got the connectivity or the network set up for everyone to charge their cars all the time. People live in flats, people live in terrace houses, people don't have drives and garages to put their cars into. There's so many things that you have to talk about. We haven't got enough renewable energy sources that are going to power, and all of that thought needs to be put in before we force people to have an electric car, let alone the cost of buying a new electric car. Not everyone can afford. I imagine most people can't afford a brand new electric car. I certainly can't.
I tell you, I was having a walk around here, and there's cables coming out of top windows going across pavements to an electric car. So now I'm having to step out into the road. Thankfully, it wasn't busy to go around. Otherwise, you could trip on this cable to an electric car. And there's a lot of that around. And also, I don't like that they're very silent.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's something creeping up on me, which I don't like. And I'd be interested to
No.
hear other people's opinions on this. We're being sold this idea that it's perfect. There's lots and lots of issues. Journeys, people having to stop and spend 45 minutes charging up. So there's a time implication here. So
Yeah.
who is it benefiting? I was I was heading northwards in the country over the summer, and massive car parks, and like at the motorway services, can take thousands of cars, but you've got two charging stations.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony is they weren't working because there wasn't enough electric on
Yeah.
site. And I'm like, come on. It's
Yeah.
so I do wonder what's going on. But green jobs and are one of the big growth areas. So it's another area in which we do need to educate our young people and
Yeah.
talk about this and get them to question what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, one way to look at it is don't spend so much money in that area and just sort out getting public transport better so that more people can use public transport, and that will probably, and then you make that electric and you've got an infrastructure in place for
Mm.
charging those specific vehicles or whatever the transport it is that you're using, get that sorted first so that people can get places in a more sustainable way in general. Like we all know in terms of trains in England as well, sometimes it can cost 300-400 pounds to get the train from Birmingham to Scotland, Edinburgh, for example.
Mm.
It can cost huge amount. And then the same down to London, occasionally it's 200-400 pounds, like to get a train. To get a flight, you can do it for about £30. So if you're looking at it purely from a cost perspective, you're going to choose the plane over the train, yet a train is a much better way, sustainability wise, to get to Edinburgh, from
Yeah,
Birmingham.
it does my head in. Where I live, it's an hour outside of London. And if
Mm,
I was to just turn up at the station, peak time, it's
yeah,
£160 return to London. That's not considering the underground.
yeah,
That's expensive. So if there are two of you going or a family, this now increases,
mm,
and you just don't have that money. So public transport does need to be made cheaper, and I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon, unfortunately.
yeah.
But that's what one of the big issues there.
But
But
yeah, I know we've completely diverted, but I do wish we'd just let's put our money and expertise into that kind of thing rather than going wild about some other new technology over here that we can get excited about or whatever. Let's get this bit
Cybertruck,
right. I know,
yeah,
yeah, I'll just have a Cybertruck.
tell you what, a bit of fun actually. So obviously it's December and it's the season of Advent, and I've been doing some blog posts because I've been really enjoying and also curious about how tech is being used at Christmas.
Yeah,
So the first thing I spotted was over on Instagram, and Lint, the chocolatier, they
yes.
using augmented reality with the teddy, Find
Yeah,
Teddy.
I saw your little video. It's very funny.
It's really, oh, thank you. It's really sweet. And I thought, oh, so tech is here now.
Yeah.
So it's these conversations, question what's going on. It's really great for
Mm,
parents to do, for teachers to do, educators it doesn't matter who you are. Question what's going on is there's even augmented reality wrapping paper. I haven't tried it, but I found it online. So you can bring the characters on the wrapping paper to life. And I mean, years ago, I bought some Mr. Men from the children's book series wrapping paper, which is nice. So
mm,
I guess you could then just use augmented reality and bring characters to life. So that's what this wrapping paper was about. It wasn't Mr. Men, it was another wrapping paper. It's in the blog. You can have a look at it there. There's so much. I mean, Joe Malone, I went into London and they've got this, ice rink at Battersea, and there's a gingerbread house, and there's
mm,
holoportation. There's all these
yeah.
lovely tech experiences. So I've
Mm.
been putting up a little post each day on my platform, sort of activities with children. I mean, today's Christmas jumper day. I'm clearly not in a Christmas
No,
jumper,
I'm definitely not.
but people are using LED lights on Christmas jumpers and
Mm,
there's themed Christmas jumpers, and it's just another opportunity to talk about technology. So
yeah.
tech is here at Christmas time, and I think it's great. But also, we just need to always question what's going on. Connectivity again, we've got a cost of living crisis. Some people
Yeah.
are, adversely affected by that. We're all affected, but some more so than others. And, there's that thing where some people just can't access this, and we should
Yeah.
always consider this.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
this is a real issue. It's affecting us in our society.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite excited by Christmas time and tech at Christmas. I think it's great.
Yeah, I know. I need to get an injection of positivity, I think. Like, I think it's one of there's just been too many negative things. And I'm like, come on, be positive now.
I tell you what, because I know we're almost out of time. There's a quote that I have. One of my quotes. It's in one of my books also. Find the positive in every day. Enjoy the positives, even when it's all going pear shaped. Just think, what's one positive that I
Yeah.
can find today? There is something.
Yeah.
Even if some days you're thinking, where is it? I can't find this positivity. It's hard, we are human, but I think sometimes you're going to dig deep and go, yeah, there is something good today, and I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. My positive thing is I've booked a little retreat in Scotland just before Christmas, which I'm looking forward to. So that's my little
Whereabouts?
positive thing. It's near Loch Lomond.
Fantastic. I love
Yeah.
Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
As you know, I've got a love affair with Scotland, and I've been up there every year for the last, like 5 years. It's great.
Yeah.
Actually borrowed one COVID year, but it's absolutely fantastic. And just look out at Loch Lomond.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna enjoy my little winter break with the family. So I'm looking forward to that.
Enjoy it. I'm going further afield for New Year.
Where are you off to?
I'm going to Morocco.
Oh, that's
Just for a couple of
exciting.
days, just to get
Yeah.
some sunshine so I don't end up with SADS, and with slight
Mm,
vitamin D deficiency, which isn't great.
yeah.
I just need some sunshine as opposed to taking tablets.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's that lunchtime walk, isn't it? You need to do the lunchtime walk, and I keep forgetting because I go too early in the dark, and today there's no point because it's
Yeah,
cloudy.
it's
But
great.
yeah, if it was sunny, a lunchtime walk would be a good idea.
Yeah. So I can do the walk, just so general mental health
Yeah.
and wellness. I do advocate a daily walk. It's important, but you just need the
Mm,
sunshine on your skin. Otherwise, I have to get a lamp to do it.
yeah. Yeah. I've never done a sun holiday in winter before. Like I've never actually done that, but I imagine it's amazing. Like to just get
I'll
that
let you know.
break. Yeah, let me know. Let me know.
Enjoy Loch Lomond. I'm actually a bit envious because Loch Lomond is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait.
It does something for me in here.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll catch up with you soon,
Yep.
and we'll talk about our journeys in tech. And anyone listening to us, reach out, share your stories, share your tech journeys. We'd love you to join us at another point, and join us on one of our chats and talk to us. And we'll keep sharing and hopefully inspiring and getting these conversations going and keeping them going
Yeah,
also. So
absolutely.
I'll see you again soon, Becky.
Right.
Okay, bye bye.